Welcome back to the Daily Vent. Next topic on the list is how long, okay, good, this is nice because this is one of the less, it's a deep topic in a way, but this is one of the less, like, it's not really as much of a hot button political issue. It's more of just like a general sort of moment. Okay, so here we go. How long before cell phones no longer have default call and text apps, and instead everyone uses only big tech or alt tech apps for all communications, similar to how the save icon is still a floppy disk even though those have been completely phased out. I'll break that down a bit more. Essentially the idea that when you have your phone, whether Apple or Android, you have the default apps that come with your device. And for an Android phone, like you have like your cell phone app, like where you make your actual calls, you have the numpad, your contacts and everything worked into that. And then you have your SMS or whatever, MMS, your instant messaging app, right? Where you send your like standard text messages that work via your SIM card, right? How long before that gets phased out? That might sound weird because that's so standard in a phone. That's part of what makes it a phone. Otherwise, if it didn't have it, wouldn't it just be kind of like an iPod? But like it has that 4G connectivity to connect to the tower, so even then it still wouldn't be just like an iPod. But that's beside the point, I guess, in a way. The idea here is that more and more people are probably opting for different services to communicate than the traditional ones that come stock with the phone or with the device. So essentially like, and it's different people might have different reasons. For some it might just be a convenience thing. For some people it might be a security thing. So for example, like I use Signal for some stuff. Signal is supposedly very secure and I think recommended by Edward Snowden. So that should tell you something about how legit of an app it is. I think it's from the people that formerly made WhatsApp before I believe WhatsApp got sold to Facebook. And so maybe that tells you about how much you should trust or should not trust WhatsApp. I digress. So essentially, is it possible that one day we're going to get phones that don't actually have any of those kinds of default apps because people might start using the actual calling function and default texting option so little? This is something that's kind of hard to pinpoint of whether it actually happened, but it's just kind of like what are the trends over time in technology. The whole comparison of the floppy disk save icon. This is kind of the idea. It's a bit of a different thing because this is more of like what is something worthy of being an icon and portraying a message, like an icon as in like an actual button to click on, right? Because like people see the floppy disk as the save icon, even though nobody uses floppy disks anymore, but yet it still has staying power because that resonates with people enough to be like, oh, that's a save icon, you know? And so it's like, this doesn't relate in the same way to the applications of the calling and texting app because, well, in a way, maybe it does because the phone displayed on the phone app is a very traditional looking cell phone, right? So again, the traditional kind of wired cell phone, very iconic, very easy to understand. Oh, that is a phone. If you just have something that's like a sideways rectangle, it's like that doesn't necessarily read as a phone very easily. So in a way, I guess there's some crossovers here, but yeah, it's just like, this is more of a general theme of like over time, things that were once standard all of a sudden are no longer standard. And in some cases, it's a bit hard to tell what those things will be. You can usually tell it's like what is the most appealing and efficient thing. And that tends to probably have the most staying power. And so the thing is like, chances are probably do a lot more things and there's a lot more functions and features with something like Signal or maybe Facebook Messenger compared to the default text app that comes with your phone. But then again, also like you need data or Wi-Fi connection to use those other apps, those alt tech or big tech apps, compared to just needing like a cell tower signal to like send messages through like your instant messaging app, right? So it's like, or you know what I mean, like the default app. And so we'll see what happens. I've already spent too much time talking about this because it's not a very big topic here, but it's just like the theme is big of things changing over time, but this is just a specific example. So I'll move on to another topic on the list, which is stop with the buzzwords. Yeah, maybe this is another video into itself, but I have in all caps here. Stop with the buzzwords. Tell me what and how. UN be like, give us money and we will fix the problems. And then all caps. But how? And essentially, this is just maybe coming from the frustration of every organization, probably, or more or less, all of these, I guess, NGOs, or whatever, it's like they all, or probably most of them, claim to have the solutions to the problem. But what are they actually going to do? And what is the actual plan? And are they going to actually tell you what that is? It's like they say, oh, we want to do this, 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 and that. And it's like, but how are you going to do it? You could talk about how diverse you are, how equitable you are. What does that even mean? You could talk about how, like, some of these job application things on LinkedIn, and it's like, we're on the cutting edge of this, that, and the other thing, and we're disrupting the industry. And it's like, you kind of almost you don't get a headache reading it, but it's like, please stop. It's like, you're trying too hard. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, like the thing is though, is that this is, I think, comes down to human psychology, where it's like buzzwords, those catchy things that really grab people's attention. And maybe a lot of people can't see past, a couple sentences. And so we just use the buzzwords, grab their attention, get them hooked. And then, once you get them hooked, you start selling them whatever you're selling, kind of thing. And it's like, that's kind of the sad state of the reality of the situation, where when you don't have people that are critically thinking enough, if you're not taught to critically think, then that's another factor. But it's like, hopefully, maybe it'll happen where, like, when you continuously see things not delivered on, it'll make you look a little deeper into the people that are saying the things, what they're saying, and if you should trust them when they say the things. Maybe there's not a whole lot else to say about that. But yeah, till next time, this has been The Daily Vent.